Well, welcome to Rob's Dyno Service. Today we have the honor of having Pastor Flathead Tom from Broken Chains Biker Church here. We've been working on his bike. We've upgraded his suspension to the Rob's Dyno Service Indian suspension, so he has a new monotube front end and a new rear shock in it. His bike was pretty bad about how it was riding down the road. It had both front fork seals blown, oil everywhere, and what do you got? 50,000 on your bike?
Not even. I probably have just over 35,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So his whole front suspension needed rework, and he brought it here to our shop for us to redo. So if you want to give a little intro about you and what's been wrong with your bike.
Well, you know, of course I had the bike dyno tune here at Rob's Dyno Service.
Yes, we did that many years ago.
And of course I embarrassed myself by taking the baffles out, but let's not review all that.
No, we don't need that.
It's all been better since. And so with the suspension completely blown, I know exactly where I was launched into the air for 1.5 feet in the air. Our New England roads are terrible. So I had a blown rear shock, blown front seals, and it felt like every corner I went into, I had a flat front tire, and it's a little terrifying because I like to jam into the corners.
All right.
So being that it was 20-something degrees this morning, I'm prepared for cold weather and ready to go for a blast to test drive this smoking new Rob's Dyno Performance Indian suspension. Come on.
All right, there you go. So what do you think, Pastor?
That ought to make a mark. I like it. Man, does that handle good. Even went over your pothole. Great out there. Did you hear it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You went flying over it.
Well, just saying.
You didn't seem to skip a beat.
I love you, man. I love you. And I love my Indian once again.
That's what it's all
Well,
about.
not that I ever stopped, but I love riding it more.
There you go.
Thank you, brother man.
All right. All right, so we're back with Pastor. He just finished taking his Indian for a ride on these wonderful New England winter roads. And what do you think?
Your road in particular is the perfect test road. Coleman Street is the worst. So it's all potholes and rivnets and gullies. And I said, well, I'm going to blast up the road one way. I don't know what road that is out there.
That's 101.
And so I worked through the gears. I'm getting used to having suspension, which is a brand new thing to me all over again. It made me fall in love with the Indian the same way I did the first day I ever rode. I'm like, dang, this thing's so great. So I blasted up the road, came back, and I said, all right, a true suspension test will be the bottom of Coleman Street, turn it onto that, where all the ravines and potholes and things you could get lost in.
Yeah,
and I was like, this thing handles like it's one of those on-off-road sport bikes. You know the kind I'm talking about.
Yeah, Lotus.
Yeah, maybe like one of those. Except it's cool because it's an Indian.
There you go.
So I gotta say that I was gonna say I'm shocked. But I'm really, really impressed with the suspension just on that little bit of a ride.
Yep.
Brand new front tire, brand new suspension, and I gotta say,
And it's serviced.
I'm ready to drag the pegs once again. And that ain't easy on an Indian. You gotta work hard.
Yeah, on a Roadmaster. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
And you'll be able to do it now in confidence that you have the suspension behind you that's not going to dive.
Because the suspension diving or mushing or feeling like the legs were up, I felt like my front axle was broken sometimes. I thought, oh, no good can be coming from this. Yeah. But I knew there was one man.
One man?
One man could make that bike better. And I knew his name was Robert Schwartz from Rob's Dyno Service here in Gardner, Massachusetts on Coleman Street. If you come up Coleman, you'll know you need a suspension.
There you go.
Amen. So thank you once again. You've worked a miracle.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.